Hey guys, this is Sean again with episode 15 of the Heavy Shield, and today we're going to be talking about how to get a job, uh, how to stay busy and paid after you leave the military. If you haven't figured that out already, uh, it's tough out here. I'm not going to lie. Um, I know when I was transitioning. I RCP'd after 15 years, and the last couple of weeks while I was clearing, you go to uh, workshop where they teach you how to write a resume and how to find a job and all these assets and ways to find a job, and that's all well and good uh, until you let it go a few years. In my case, uh, 7 8 years after you about 6 7 years after you leave to try and get a serious job, a career path. I had a job shortly after I left the military after I got out after 15 years. And that was just because my savings were dwindling down to nothing. I got a job in retail. I mean, any asshole can get a job in retail. But how do you find a job that's going to turn into a career? Took me forever. Personally, I've been in the medical field. I was an Army medic for 22 years, and I wanted to stay in that field, but I was burnt out on trauma. So I didn't want to be an EMT, and my certification as a medic that I had to maintain for the Army was EMT basic. And if you just get a job as an EMT basic, I mean, especially here in South Carolina, it's no matter where you go, it's not a living wage. It's a barely scraping by wage, and it takes money to get higher and better certifications, um, especially as an Army medic getting out after 22 years. My skill level and knowledge level was way above and beyond my certification level. And to get a job at my certification level, I it would just been uh, demeaning. Would have felt demeaning, uh, not worth my time. Just way beyond what I know I can do. Uh, again, using the EMT levels as an example. I mean, I know how to do certain procedures that even civilian paramedics never do in the field, and I've done them in the field as an EMT basic. So it's trying to find a job commensurate with your experience and your training, um, and just what you've done in the real world while in the military versus what you're actually certified or allowed to do in the civilian sector. A lot of times there's a huge discrepancy in between the two. So how do you find a civilian job that can still challenge you or allow you to operate at the same level as you were in the military? It's tough. Um, I know a lot of people go into the military and go MP, um, and think, oh, it's an easy path to police work on the outside. Yeah, no, it's not. Uh, from my experience, from people I've talked to, people I know uh, in civilian law enforcement and military law enforcement, no, the differences are huge. Uh, it's kind of the same along the same lines as when we were all in basic training, and we are just about to go to the range, and the drill sergeant said, "All right, who is born with Grandpappy shotgun in her hand?" and half your platoon, your company raise their hands, and the drill sergeant goes, "All right, there's all our bolos and marksmen." Uh, who's never fired a long gun before, and the rest of your platoon or company raises their hands, and drill sergeant goes, "All right, there's our sharpshooters and experts." Same thing with law enforcement. It's military law enforcement and civilian law enforcement are vastly different. I'm not going to say they're completely uh, different, but vastly different. So, uh, from everything I've heard and people I've talked to, people I know, civilian law enforcement academies are much more likely to hire on folks that, guys like infantry that have never had any law enforcement experience before, because they can fill their heads. They're basically an empty cup when it comes to law enforcement and laws and regulations and stuff. Whereas someone coming from military police background, uh, at these civilian academies, they have to basically break them down and unlearn all these bad habits or laws that don't apply in the civilian sector. And not only just reteach them, but unteach them bad habits and bad thought processes. So it's tough getting back out into not just a job. Anyone can find a job. I mean, Jesus Christ, these days everyone's hiring. McDonald's is hiring, and they're all paying like nine something an hour, but that is not a living wage, and it's just not a satisfactory job when you're coming out of the military, especially for those of us that have been in a few years, and I'm talking about folks that have been in for more than 3 or 4 years. It is a tough transition. If you've been in less than 4 years, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but I guarantee you it's a much easier transition. But those of us that have been in for more than 4 years, especially 10, 15, 20 years, I always equated it to Brooks getting out of prison and the Shawshank Redemption, and he's working at a grocery store, and he's bagging groceries and he's raising his hand. Got to take a leak, boss. Brooks, you're not in prison anymore. You don't got to ask permission. Just tell somebody and go. Jesus Christ. And I still find myself in that position. I just got to take a piss, and I grab the nearest person. I go, hey, here's what I've been doing. Here's where I left off with it. I got to go take a leak. I'll be back in like 2 minutes. And they go, okay, fuck, I care. You're only gone 2 minutes? All right, whatever, dude. So it's tough transitioning, and I know I've kind of what one of the things that reminded me of this topic and encouraged me to make a video about it is I saw a guy. I belong to a group on Facebook called Military Dickheads. If you don't belong and you should belong, then check it out. It's on Facebook, Military Dickheads, and it's from all branches. Doesn't matter what branch you are. Yeah, we called Military Dickheads because we were a bunch of dickheads. We're assholes, but at the end of the day, we fucking support each other. And a dude recently reached out and said, "Hey man, how do I find a job that I'm not walking into every day, having to walk on eggshells, that doesn't give me any joy?" And his big thing was the only thing that he could think would fulfill his needs emotionally, not just monetarily, is working for the VA. So he's kind of seeking help about that or advice. Hey, does anybody else work at the VA? Am I on the right track? Am I on the wrong track? So on and so forth. So there's no one right answer. There are a lot of online resources. There are job search sites. I'll put some links in the description below to some job search sites. The big one, especially for former military, is usajobs.gov. That one's probably the easiest to use because you just put in your MOS, and you can kind of select from drop down menus the types of jobs you're looking for and where you're looking for them, and it kind of searches the internet for all these jobs that are hiring into those similar fields. Um, so it's a little more user friendly when it comes to military or former military. You still have to attach a resume to them, then there are also other job recruiting sites called there's Indeed, Indeed, Indeed. Then there's always Zip Recruiter. Uh, Zip Recruiter is another one. It's not just useful for jobs that are searching for uh, someone to hire, but it's also hiring, a platform for if you're looking for a job, go to ziprecruiter.com and as well as indeed.com. And again, I'm not getting paid from any of these sites to push them. Those are just a couple of the big common ones. So Indeed, ZipRecruiter, USAJobs.gov, and then also check out your state DOL or Department of Labor website. Just Google. For me, it's South Carolina. I live in South Carolina, so it would look up SCDOL, South Carolina DOL or Department of Labor. If you live in Massachusetts, it'd be MADOL, whatever the case may be. Those are also good places to look for jobs. Plus, they also have local offices. You don't even have to live in the state capital. I know here in the town I live in South Carolina, I'm about an hour and a half away from Columbia, but there's still a Department of Labor office here in the town I live in, where you can go in and look for jobs. And they also normally have a dude. Not in every office, obviously, but in quite a lot of offices throughout the states, they have people that either specialize in or have additional training in helping military veterans look for jobs within that state based on your qualifications, certifications, experience, so on and so forth. So your state Department of Labor website is another asset you can use to find a job. And the big thing, excuse me, the big thing that I had to get used to was all job applications are done online these days. Everything's online. Everything's digital. Long gone are the days where you can just walk into unless it's like a bar, like a privately owned bar. It's not a chain. A lot of times they might have paper applications to fill out. But other than that, it's all done over the internet, online. I don't like it because it's very impersonal. You never get to see somebody's face, whether you're the one doing the hiring or the one looking for the job. You just don't get that one-to-one interaction. I don't get to see somebody walk in looking for a job, walking in, in blue jeans and a ripped up T-shirt and fucking flip flops, looking for a job. Like, really, you're gonna come to a job application wearing that, looking like that? Fucking go kick rocks, asshole. Um, so everything's online. But having said that, even though everything's online, you can just send off an application. Uh, don't rest on your laurels. Don't just let that be. Well, I applied. If I don't hear back. Oh well. Guess they didn't like me. No, follow up with that shit. Give it about a week. Don't be an asshole and pound them like day one and day two and day three and day four. Hey, you gonna hire me? Hey, you gonna hire me? Hey, you gonna hire me? Did you see my application? Did you see my application? That will make an employer not want to hire you quicker than anything, whether you're qualified or not. Uh, Give it a week. Um, some jobs, especially if it's a local store or clinic or local business uh, or local office where their headquarters is somewhere much larger or a few states away, whatever the case may be. A lot of times, the local office or store, clinic, whatever, like I said, may not get your resume right away. It may have to be pushed down from higher. So give your application time to be seen by someone at higher and then get pushed down to your local office or wherever you're trying to get hired. But definitely follow up. Give it a week, but follow up. Call and say, hey, my name is so and so. I'm following up an application I placed on this date for this job at this location. Can you point me in the right direction? Uh, and like I said, it's a fine line to walk between being pushy versus just getting walked all over or being ignored. Be aggressive with it without being an asshole. One thing you definitely want to attach to any kind of online resume or application is a resume. And again, something that at least the Army, I'm sure other branches do the same thing when you're out processing. They teach you how to write a resume. Um, if you're getting to that point, definitely pay attention when they're teaching you how to write a resume, because there's right way, there's wrong way, and then depending on the type of job you're looking for, there are multiple ways to write your resume based on your experiences. Um, I just recently, like I said, I got a job in a ear, nose, throat allergy clinic. Um, so when I wrote my resume, I didn't focus on. I was responsible for $3 million worth of equipment at my last 10 units while I was active duty. They don't really care about that. They care about how I do with giving shots, patient interaction, um, interacting with other coworkers, managing clinics, the day-to-day interpersonal thing, and technical experience with actually giving shots of different types and testing. Um, you know, can I do certain procedures like putting on gloves, filling syringes, mixing vials, that kind of thing. They don't give a shit if yeah, I was in charge of a $3 million striker for 3 years and I didn't lose a piece of equipment. They don't care about stuff like that. They don't care that I qualified with my M4 and shot 40 out of 40, shot expert for X amount of years. They don't care about stuff like that. So you have to tailor certain resumes towards the job you're looking for. And if you don't get that when you're out processing, or if you forget everything you learned when you were out processing because it's been a while, there are resume builder websites out there. Some of them are free, some you got to pay for. Some of them they do the first one or two for free. After that, you pay. Some of them they're free to put the initial info in, but they charge for extras like real fancy typefaces and fonts and stuff like that, or they'll print them out on cardstock or really nice paper and mail them to you so that you have really nice hard copies to turn into a potential employer. So there are varying degrees of these websites that charge from everything from nothing to, if you're applying as a COO of a corporation, they will set you up for that, but they cost money. But they are out there. Just, again, go to Google, search resume builder, and you'll get a million returns on them. There's one of the things that a lot of these employers, either on the resume or on the online application, they ask you for is top skills that you think you you have. And if you just Google military veteran resume skills, or words to that effect, top 10 transferable military skills is the first thing that pops up. Leadership, financial responsibility, self-sufficiency, effective communication, that's a huge thing. Integrity, again, another huge thing, another huge red flag, not red flag, but huge flag for employers. What they're looking for is integrity, technological skills, teamwork, ability to perform under pressure. These are all good points to add to those kind of nebulous skills. Basically, skills you know outside of your tactical or technical proficiency skills, beyond what the job asks for. In my case, this is above and beyond. Can I give a subcutaneous injection? These are those kind of overreaching skill sets that a lot of people don't know or don't have, that the military teaches you. Doesn't matter your MOS. Even if you got out as an E4 or an E5, you still know what good leadership looks like. You know what bad leadership looks like. So that's something you can add in is that, hey, yeah, I have leadership. I can communicate with somebody else. Communication skills is a huge thing. I can communicate to somebody else and ask them to perform a task without coming across like an asshole. Self-sufficiency or initiative. Self-sufficiency, initiative. Those are both two good skills. Hey, I don't have to sit around and wait for somebody to tell me to do something. I'm not going to sit there on my fucking phone for an hour and a half because nobody told me to do something. Nobody wants to see that. So teamwork, being able to work with somebody else. These are all valuable skills that not everybody knows, or certainly doesn't know to put on an application or a resume. So again, this is something else you can search for. You can Google. These are all tools that you can add to an online application or a resume. And again, if you're not sure if this job is what you want to do, or maybe the right people or environment, go into the job. Go into this place of business, whatever it is, and go, hey, I'm thinking about applying for this job. Can I look around and talk to the people? Or if it's some place, say you just, I don't know, just for example, you're going to work at a sporting goods store. Walk in, talk to people. You don't have to tell them, hey, I'm looking for a job. I'm here to interview you. What kind of person are you? Are you an asshole? Are you cool? Yeah, you don't have to do that. Just go undercover a little bit. Walk in and go, hey, talk to everybody. Go on a few days. You get to talk to all the employees, at least for a couple minutes, or at least most of the employees for a minute or two, and see if they're cool people. There's even in a job like mine, like I said, I work at a ENT clinic in an allergy department. Um, I didn't do this personally, but if I was really worried about it, I could have walked up to the clinic and go, hey, you know what? I'm thinking about applying here. Can I meet some of the folks that work here? Not the manager, not who's doing the hiring. Can I meet some of the people that work here? And just chat with them for a little bit. You know, you don't have to specifically ask them how would I like working here? Are you guys cool? Are you guys assholes? But just talk to them. If they say no, you haven't lost anything, right? But at least go in and try and meet the people that you might potentially be working with. Um, Personally, I kind of knew uh, I had a high probability of liking the people I worked with just because of the required certifications needed for my job. They needed at least certified medical assistants or EMTs, at least EMT basic. And a lot of allergy techs that work in my department are former paramedics, EMTs. So even though they weren't former military, coming from a medical background as a medic, we have the same kind of sensibilities, same sense of humor. You know, uh, cuss like a Russian sailor on shore leave. You know, as long as there's not patients around. But we, we jive. You know, um, even the CMAs, certified medical assistants. Like I said, a lot of them they've never worked on an ambulance or they've never worked traumas before, but the ones that work there worked around those folks that have, and they've kind of either meshed or left, or you can easily identify those folks that, all right, maybe I can't joke about having to lug some 300-pound fat fuck down 18 flights of stairs because they had a fucking heart attack on their 85th Twinkie. You can't joke about shit like that around these people. But everyone else, I can. So, uh, again, try and find a job that kind of gels with one, what you want to do, two, based on your experiences. And then, like I said, if all else fails, go to the job and ask to talk to some of the people that work there. And again, you don't have to, interview them and ask about, um, overtime and all the specifics. Just talk to them, see if they're cool people, see if you would enjoy working with them, and or can just at least get along with them. So, anyways, kind of talked enough. I'll put some links down in the description below for Indeed, ZipRecruiter, and USAJobs.gov. Uh, your Department of Labor sites, I'll mention that as well, but those websites are obviously specific to your state. But I'll also mention that in the description below. If anybody else has any other pointers or websites or assets that somebody can use to help find a job, please mention in a comment below. Uh, Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe to the channel. All it does is help push the word out to help other veterans with PTSD and those that are struggling to reintegrate into the civilian sector. So, again, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time.